This is the health news for CS5 Network. Trans fat are bad, increasing the rates of heart disease and diabetes, even perhaps aggression. Trans fat intake has been associated with over-aggressive behavior in patients. Trans fats is basically only found in one place in the nature, animal fat. The food industry, however, found a way to synthetically create these toxic fats by hydrating vegetable oil on a process called hydrogenating to make them behave more like animal fats. Although most of America's trans fat intake is traditionally comes from processed food containing partially hydrogenated oils. A fifth of the trans fats in American diets used to become from animal products. 1.2 grams out of 5.8 total consumed daily on average. 5,000 burgers is cooked every week in this restaurant. None of them contain trans fats. Chef Jeff Tonks stopped using the controversial ingredient several years ago after becoming worried about his own health.
Trans fat is a hidden fat, and it's sort of deceiving us. Sometimes you go to a restaurant with expectations of fresh food, be prepared wholesome and stuff for you, but then there's an underlying thing of how is the food cooked, what's the fat that it's fried in and stuff. So I think it's a great ban that people can go down and be confident there's more transparency.
Trans fats are linked to a number of health problems according to regulators. Eliminating it could prevent estimated 7,000 deaths from heart disease and 20,000 heart attacks a year. But some Americans don't want the government telling them what to eat.
I think people need to make more informed choices about what they're eating. So maybe telling people that there is or is not trans fat is a good idea, but I don't think the government should really have any say in it necessarily.
I don't think a lot of people pay attention to nutrition so much, so when they see something that looks tasty, they're just going to go for it. And it may be better to have a little bit of a paternalism, a little bit of somebody looking over your shoulder to say, well, that's probably not so good for you.
The food industry has already taken strides in the last decades to reduce trans fat by 85%. But they're still used for the long shelf life in some mass-produced food. The National Restaurant Association says trans fats in small businesses simply cannot be replaced.
There is certain applications like the baked goods and the pizza crust and the whipped toppings where there's just really no good alternative from that standpoint. So finding those other alternatives that are being able to meet the demand from the food supply standpoint, but also be healthier alternatives.
Government advice: some nutrition has always been good, but America struggles with obesity and other diet-related illnesses. More food regulations seem inevitable. Hatem Al Ghamdi, CS5 News, Greensboro.